I've said from the beginning, we're definitely not perfect, and we don't ever claim to be perfect. But one thing we don't do, and one thing that you said was that you correct your wrongs. And there hasn't been anything that has been unsatisfied that we have not corrected. So, and I mean anything. So we've always corrected our wrongs. And when you're that type of person, and when you're that type of company, and when you train your people to be that type of people, then the sky's the limit with the government, because that's the last thing that they want to be doing, is trying to fight and grab someone and get them to come back and correct the things that they messed up on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, only thing I want to say is, our company, Integrity Transit, Integrity Global Logistics, Team Integrity Knowledge Center. I mean that. We operate with integrity. Everyone underneath our empire meets those standards. And I think that's also why I've done so well in government in such a short period of time, right? Doing what you say you're going to do. When you submit that bid, you have to understand what that scope is asking for. You have to understand what the deliverables and expectations are. And when you throw that number, you need to make sure that encompasses everything, and everything that you may not see coming included in, being able to perform that contract to end.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, that's honestly probably one of the biggest things that any contractor struggles with, is not what you have in your bid, but what you don't have in your bid, right? And what you should have had in your bid.
In your bid. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you gotta get better. And I'll tell you what, we've gotten better. I mean, we now, tie all the specification sections and the drawing numbers to our subcontractors, because sometimes there'll be a scenario where it's like, hey, I didn't have that. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't have it? You were the mechanical contractor. You got the mechanical. I didn't have that. Well, it says it right here in the spec section. I didn't have that. Well, you're going to be tied to the same documents I'm tied to moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. You get the same scope, the same requirements as I do, for sure. And pricing is so essential. People are like, just bid. But you have to understand, when you're bidding, your price is your price, right? Mm-hmm. They don't want you to come back and say, well, my subcontractor just added another $22,000. True story, right? They're not trying to hear that. Sometimes they could make some form of adjustments, but rarely ever. Your price is your price.